Okay, so today we are talking about Boolean expressions, and Boolean expressions are expressions which evaluate to either true or false. You may remember what a Boolean is from our discussion of primitive types in Unit 1. Okay, so we're working towards using Booleans inside what are called conditionals. And conditional statements are statements that execute or evaluate when the condition is true. Okay, so that is where we are working towards. So Boolean expressions are either true or false, and we can also use them with what are called relational operators. And that's what we're going to use to compare different expressions. So there are several different relational operators. There is equals. There is not equals. We have greater than, which means obviously we also have less than. We have greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to, right? Now, it's really important to draw attention right now to this baby right here, equals. Okay, so notice that in Java and in most programming languages, right, if we're using equals to compare two values, we are using that double equal sign because in Java or in other computer programming languages, we use what we see as the equal sign as an assignment, right? Operator. So you may find as you're working through these levels, if you see yourself having some bugs, just make sure that you are using the correct signs for equals in order to, not equals, right? In order to make sure that it's evaluating correctly. Okay, so you can use Boolean expressions with your relational operators with the following primitive types. So we can use it with int, we can use it with double, we can use it with Boolean. Weird, right? And then we can use it with char. We cannot use it with string. Right? So string, to use it with string, you need to use the method equals, right? Which you used a little bit in Unit 2. So can use with, int, double, Boolean, and char. Okay, so as we are looking through this, for example, right, we declare an int called cats, and we set it equal to 5, and then we have an int called dogs, and we set it equal to 7, and if we want to compare the two, we can say Boolean more cats, more cats, and we're going to set it to cats greater than dogs, and so it will compare these two variables, and we know, is 5 greater than 7? Nope. So Boolean more cats will evaluate to false. Okay. Now, if we wanted to write a statement for Boolean that would evaluate to true, we could call it maybe Boolean more dogs, right? And we have dogs greater than cats, which 7 is greater than 5. Yep. So more dogs is going to evaluate to true. Okay. Now, one important note with this is that we can compare objects, so we can use Booleans to compare objects. Or what we would call reference types, right? But it's going to check to see, whether they're the same object. Okay, so you can't actually, if we declared 2 rectangles, for example, right? And we said, okay, so rectangle, rect1 equals new rectangle 510, right? And then we also said rectangle rect2 equals new rectangle 510. Comparing these two would actually give us a false. So because they are 2 different objects, right? 2 different objects, rect1 and rect2.